place all summer.
Summer job prospects look pretty grim.
Embalming.
People were just dying for work.
To funeral home?
Businesses were going under, 6 feet deep.
You know what happens when the Don doesn't get his money?
You mean you're waking up dead people for money?
No. Rich dead people.
This sucks.
You guys will have more money than you know what to do with.
They found the secret to breathe new life
He's a smoking dead man.
into a dying enterprise and tackled the Grim Reaper in some stiff competition. Their summer job project really started coming alive.
Awesome!
But waking the dead can have grave consequences.
The Don is dead. I cannot believe we woke up the Don. Vincent Vito is gonna kill us.
I personally chainsaw the funeral director.
Join Art Metrano, Frank Gorshin, Vic Tayback, and 2 totally gnarly dudes as they discover the secret of life.
Angela, come on down.
Profit in Beverly Hills Bodysnatchers. Dig 'em.
Hey there guys, OCB Communications, and welcome back to another review, this time of the 1989 film Beverly Hills Bodysnatchers. Now this is a film that's only on VHS, it's not been released on DVD, for pretty much for good reason, because this is a pretty bad film. But what's interesting about this movie is it is technically the directorial debut of Jonathan Mostow. Jonathan Mostow, you might be familiar with his name because he directed Terminator 3 Rise of Machines, as well as Breakdown. Of course, Rise of the Machines, not Rise of Machines, but, you know, I just flubbed my lines there. My bad. But anyway, Beverly Hills Bodysnatchers was the first film he directed. He directed a little segment in a horror anthology called Fright House in 1985 before this, but this is the first film that he directed. Now he was responsible for the story, he was one of the film's producers, and he also wrote part of the screenplay, and he had a little cameo in the film. So, he was pretty busy with this one. Now, Beverly Hills Bodysnatchers, it stars Vic Tayback from the show Alice, TV series Alice from back in the day, like back in the 70s. Frank Gorshin, the Riddler from the 60s Batman TV series. Art Metrano, who was in Police Academy 2 and 3. And you also have Rodney Eastman, played one of the Dream Warriors in Nightmare on Elm Street's Part 3 and 4. So, and you have a few other actors here and there too, like that you might have seen in some other movies. Warren Selko plays Vincent. He's the older brother of Rodney Eastman's character, Freddy, which is, he plays Freddy. Get it? He plays Freddy. Oh. And there's even a scene where his Art Metrano, who plays his uncle, who happens to be a mob boss, he asked Rodney Eastman, like, you still having wet dreams? So I was just like, yeah, little Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 a reference right there. Still having wet dreams. Anyway, yeah, Brooke Bundy, who's in it as a character named Mona. Keone Young plays a mob boss named Don Ho. Keone Young, you might know him. He's been in a decent amount of stuff. Did a lot of voices for a lot of TV shows, and he did a bit part in Men in Black 3. He was also in Crank 2. He was in Dude, Where's My Car as well. And then that's pretty much it for the cast. I mean, Art Metrano, Frank Gorshin, Vic Tayback. Vic Tayback plays Lou. Frank Gorshin plays Doc, who is this mad scientist type doctor who's trying to develop this formula for immortality to bring the dead back to life and keep them alive. And the basic gist of the plot is rather simple. It's just a doctor and a mortician Lou and Doc, played by Vic Tayback and Frank Gorshin, they team up to do reanimation experiments on corpses using money borrowed from the mafia. When they can't pay it back, the mafia boss sends his nephews to work at the funeral home to keep watch on the debtors. The nephews end up helping search for new bodies, and mayhem ensues when some undesirable types are reanimated. Pretty much what happens is the Don accidentally dies, and the Don of the mafia, and the Don ends up being reanimated, and then it causes all this other stuff, and other people get reanimated and whatever. And it's supposed to be zany zombie hijinks, but it's not really anything that's really particularly that funny or really that engaging. At the end of the day, this is a pretty bad movie. I mean, I'm not going to argue with the 3.5 rating on IMDb, but there were some parts of it that I really didn't mind, and I thought was actually pretty entertaining. But these were moments of the film that were entertaining in spite of the film, because this is a movie where it's unintentionally hilarious. Like, I'm talking, it's one of those movies that has laughably bad acting by some of the cast members, and some really just absurd, I guess they're jokes, but it's just stuff that just comes out of left field and sucker punches you, and you just can't help but laugh because it's just so ridiculous. So, in that respect, I ultimately, it was for first time watch, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was kind of watchable in a strange way, but it was still pretty bad. I'm not defending this movie. This is definitely a bad film, but there are some moments in it that are actually kind of funny, especially Vic Tayback. I really loved his performance in this. I was very entertained by his performance. It's not a very good performance acting wise, but that's what makes it so entertaining, because he's just so over the top. He's so over exasperated with his role as Lou that you feel like he's gonna just explode any minute. And for some reason he can't go one or two scenes without saying the word fuck. He's just constantly just saying the F word all the time. And this film is only rated R because of the F words that are just F bombs are thrown all over the place, just dropping like flies in this movie. And every time you have the mafia, there's the mafia scenes, the F bombs being tossed around. And I didn't mind Art Metrano as well. I thought he had some fun scenes, some fun lines of dialogue. And speaking of the F word, Vic Tayback delivers one of the most entertaining line deliveries of the word fuck I have ever seen. You just gotta see it for yourself. Fuck! I know that feeling. I've felt that way many times watching a lot of different movies, or just going around my normal duties during life, just dealing with life. So I've definitely felt that way. Oh, I got the wrong order at Arby's. Fuck. Just all that kind of stuff. So I didn't mind that performance. It's bad, but it's entertaining. I mean, there's this later scene where he finds out that the Don is being reanimated, and Frank Gorshin is talking to Lou, and he's like, "It's not the Don." And then you cut to a quick cut to a scene where Vic Tayback's driving the hearse, and he's like, "It is the Don. We're fucked. We're fucked. It's the Don. It's the Don. We're fucked." So I definitely I enjoyed Vic Tayback's performance. Art Metrano I liked too, because he had some fun scenes, some fun little bits and moments where he insults, has some fun insults. He's finds out the Don isn't in the casket at the funeral, and he basically pulls aside Lou and his nephew, his nephews Vincent and Freddie, and he gives them an earful. And I actually like this scene because he talks about like, you three are gonna be dead. 3 dead guys. Dead guys with no nipples. If you don't find the Don. It's just like, dead guys with no nipples. It's just lines of dialogue in this are just so absurd. You can't help but laugh. There's a scene where Rodney Eastman is trying to get some poon with his girlfriend. He's in a coffin, and she's all like, "I don't like this. It's too freaky and weird. I thought you were gonna work here for too much longer. I don't like, being around all these dead people. It's not comfortable or whatever." And Rodney's like, "Well, your grandmother's almost practically dead, and and she sits on the couch all the time, and that's practically our favorite place to do it." And then the girl's like, "Oh, good point there." And I'm like, "Way to go, Rodney. Way to get some poon." So that was pretty funny. There's another line of dialogue I didn't mind that was early in the film where Vic Tayback and Frank Gorshin are talking about the mafia, and talking about the two nephews, and they're coming to work for them, and they're all like, "Yeah, we could scare them off. We could do all this kind of stuff. I mean, we work in the mortuary. We see shit that would make Charles Manson turn green." So so there's some fun lines of dialogue like that, and there's some zany moments with the reanimated corpses. Like, I didn't mind some of the moments where the reanimated corpses, like, he's trying to teach it to, like, put the square peg, put the pegs in the holes. That little game where you put, like, the shapes in the different holes and stuff like that. And Vic Tayback is great in this scene because he just gets so foaming at the mouth, mad. He's like, "No, you fucking stiff! Don't eat it! Put it in the hole!" I'm like, "Stop! You're fucking stiff!" So it does seem like this movie was ghost written by Rob Zombie, because it's just got so many F-bombs in it. And so then you have all these different, you have this one guy who's, I guess he's like a friend of Vincent and Freddie, and he's just like this typical surfer dude guy who's just shows up every now and then. Like, he's like a wannabe Alex Winter from Bill and Ted. And the whole film, and even the trailer, tried to be like, "Hey, these two bodacious dudes, it's like Bill and Ted meets zombies," which is actually kind of cool concept, but it's not really executed very well in this. It's a very low budget, low rent production, so that doesn't really do much with the whole zombie angle. It's about as tame and lame as, for example, Bud the Chud, Chud 2, which is actually a film that the actor who played Vincent was also in. And speaking of him, there's a certain sequence in this film where his acting is so bad, but it's so funny. It's one of those typical really awful performances that it's so bad it just makes you chuckle. And this happens after the Don's been reanimated. He's running around doing stuff, and he knocks some pedestrians out with a lamp. And Vic Tayback shows up, and he's all like, well, maybe it wasn't the Don. Maybe they got hit by a car." And then what follows is this legendarily awesome performance by the actor who plays Vincent, who Warren Selko. So watch and enjoy for yourselves.
No, no, no! Shit! Oh. All right, maybe the Don didn't do this. Maybe they got hit by a car.
I don't know, Lou. What kind of car kills people with lamps?
I really love that. It's just like, no, I don't know, man. Cars don't kill people with lamps. So it's just the performance is so bad you can't help but laugh in spite of it. And then there's one particular scene that had me rolling in this film, and it was just because it was so random and so out there. It's a meeting between a mafia guy, the mafia boss, and one of his mafia friends. They're at a golf course, and the guy's pissed off, and I'm just gonna show the clip. I mean, just watch this, and just see for yourself what I mean. This is like one of the most ultimate what the fuck moments I think I've seen in a film recently.
I got palm trees with no fucking coconuts!
I got palm trees with no fucking coconuts. It's just like palm trees with no fucking coconuts. Got palm trees with no fucking coconuts. This seems like something that I could totally see if anybody, like any like famous reviewer saw this, would use it as like a meme. They're like, I got palm trees with no fucking coconuts. It's just so absurd. I couldn't help but laugh at that. I really couldn't. That was pretty funny actually. And the movie actually has a decent soundtrack, which I guess there's some songs are actually written by Jonathan Mostow, and it's a typical sort of it sort of sounds like they're trying to do Axel F by Harold Faltermeyer, but the low budget direct to video version, and so there's a little bit of that because it's Beverly Hills, and a little bit of these typical '80s songs, which pop songs, which I didn't mind to be honest, and added it a little bit to to the film, and then it also had an ending that I didn't really see coming, where they actually do perfect the formula, bring the Dawn back to normal. Everybody becomes billionaires. They become rich, but then it has this weird twist ending where the reanimated Dawn, is talking to Frank Gorshin, who is another thing I liked about the movie. I thought Frank Gorshin's performance was pretty good. I thought it was entertaining performance that he delivered for the doc. And so you have the ending where the Don's trying to ask Frank Gorshin, Doc, like, when do I know when I need another shot to keep myself alive? And the doc lets him know, but it's like it happens too late, and it says, and like Don passes out in a birthday cake, and then he wakes up and he's got like sharp teeth, and now he's like a true zombie now, and then he growls, and the movie ends, and I'm like, I don't really get that ending. It just seems really random. But the whole movie is pretty much random anyway. So yeah, uh as for anything else I got to say about Beverly Hills Bodysnatchers, um, like I said, it's not a good movie. It's not a movie I would recommend to anybody really. It's just a film that I've only watched because I'm starting to get into watching my VHS tapes on my shelf, and this happened to be the first one that was there on the shelf to watch. I mean, the first one was actually Attack of the Crab Monsters, but that got eaten by one of my VCRs, so that didn't work out. So, but that's okay. I didn't really need to watch that anyway. But Beverly Hills Bodysnatchers was the next one on the shelf, so that's the only reason why I really watched this. But I was kind of curious about it anyway. I mean, I like Rodney Eastman, from Dream Warriors and the Dream Master, yeah, Dream Warriors and the Dream Master. So I did like seeing Rodney Eastman. Now it's not like he had that much to do, but what he had to work with, he did pretty good. Vic Tayback, I had fun with his performance. I like Frank Gorshin. I like Art Metrano. It just could have used a little bit more zombie sight gags, like some gore would have helped, like some Reanimator style gags would have helped the film a lot. And could have been definitely funnier. I mean, none of the jokes really were that funny. It was just the unintentional moments of hilarity that really made me laugh. Everything else was just pretty lame, and there wasn't really a lot of laughs to be had. And for the most part, it was an 85-minute long movie, so, and I wasn't really paying attention through all of it. And there was parts of it I was chatting with Matt on Skype or leaving comments on Facebook. So it's a movie that if you are doing something and you need to put something on and whatever, I guess you could do this. This could fit the bill. You don't have to pay that much attention to it, but I wouldn't even call this a time waster for me because I really don't have a desire to watch this again. I mean, I did have some fun with some of the performances, but it doesn't mean it was a good movie. It's just a pretty awful film, and a lot of aspects. The direction's pretty lackluster by Jonathan Mostow. Definitely would go on to do a much better job in later efforts. And the plot isn't really that engaging, and overall it's a pretty bad and lame movie. But there are some moments that I was entertained by the film, but for the most part it is what it is. It's a strange movie. It had some potential if it went all out with the sort of Bill and Ted meet zombies angle, but it didn't really go that far with it. Threw in the mafia stuff and threw in all, some zany zombie gags, but they weren't really that funny. And so it's kind of some good, decent performances by some of the cast. Some moments that might make you chuckle, but only because you're just laughing at how bad the movie is. But other than that, really not much to write home about. But anyway, I really don't know what to say about Beverly Hills Bodysnatchers, except it was rated out of 5 stars. I did like this more than I thought I would. Like I said, it's still a bad movie, but there were some things about it I didn't mind. Some of the performances and some of the just ridiculous moments in the movie. So overall, I'd probably give it 1.5 out of 5. It's definitely a poor movie. It gets a poor grade. It's not a good movie by any means. But there's worse movies out there that I've seen than Beverly Hills Bodysnatchers. This movie didn't make me want to rip my own eyes out and shove them up my ass like some movies I've seen. So that's good, but that's not saying much either. That's very faint praise. But anyway, I really don't know what to say about the film except thank you for watching my review, and I will see you guys later. See ya.
This sucks. Totally.